Welcome back, everybody. So today I'm going to start the process of putting the Lingenfelter two-step on the car, and being that it's a manual six-speed car, I'm also going to be running it with a Lingenfelter clutch activation programmer switch that I'm going to have to wire in as well as a switch inside the cab to turn it on and off. So a little bit of wiring to do. I'm gonna just take everything out of the box and kind of show you what all comes with the kit, and start laying out the wires and see how everything's going to be routed. Also just finished kind of cleaning up the car, 4-stage polish and wax on it, and turned out pretty decent. No professional detailer by any means, but got rid of a lot of little scratches that were in the car, so looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna try to make it even a little more faster at the drag strip by putting in the controller, and hopefully have a little better launches, a little more consistent launches for springtime racing. So yeah, we'll start with that and see how things go. Okay, so this is kind of a quick overview of what I purchased and how I'm going to wire it up. So we have the Lingenfelter launch control two-step. It's not a true two-step, as usually a true two-step has a high RPM and a low RPM activation, where this has just one solid activation, 1 RPM. So it's more, it's a launch control versus a true two-step, but it's commonly called a two-step, including myself. I do it all the time, but that's the LNC 2001 Lingenfelter launch controller. Being that's a manual car, I'm gonna have to put in a C-tap, and this is the clutch activation switch from Lingenfelter. So this is going to turn the launch control on and off, arming it at the right time. And I also ordered a plug and play clutch position sensor. So this is going to get plugged in underneath the dash for my clutch, and then it's going to go to here, which will be giving voltage to the C-tap. The way it works is it's not an on-off switch like a brake light or anything like that for these cars. It has a variable voltage when it comes to the activation. So it's from 0 to 5 volts. So the C-tap will see it. It'll I can set at what voltage I want the launch control to be activated and armed and unarmed. So it's not just all the way down, all the way up. So I can set it with the controller, the C-tap controller. So the way that's going to work is we have the clutch in signal, and then we got power and ground, and then the yellow wire is going to be the output normally off is yellow. That's going to be going to the launch controller to arm and disarm, turn on and off the launch controller. I was originally going to wire it to my roll control, my line locks, and run them all on one switch, and then I decided not to, because that can possibly limit my RPM in the burnout box if my launch control and my line lock are activated at the same time. So I've decided against that, and I'm going to just leave that on a momentary switch of its own, and then we're going to run a secondary momentary switch, completely different circuit independently for the launch control. So the C-tap's going to go through a momentary switch, and then it's going to go to the launch controller. So basically the clutch has to be in, and I have to have the momentary button depressed for launch control to work. So once I launch, I'll let go of the momentary switch. The circuit will be open, and as I press the clutch in to change gears going down the track, the launch control will not be activated anymore. So that should work pretty good. So that's pretty much it. These go in between your coils on your driver's side and passenger side of the engine, then extensions for your leads for your launch control, and then the C-tap itself, and then, like I said, the pedal position sensor plug and play harness. And I do have some new fancy billet buttons that I ordered from Billet Buttons Automotive. They're out of Australia. Took about 2 weeks for them to show up, and really nice. I'm going to wire these into the car, and I have one for the two-step launch control, and then one momentary switch for my line lock. And this is for the killer chiller that I already have installed. Just going to replace that with a nice new button, have them all match. And these are illuminated, so this one lights up red, and then I believe I ordered this one to light up blue for the killer chiller. And then the line lock, I believe, is also red. So they'll look good when they're being used, and kind of clean up the interior a little nicer. So that's the overview of kind of what I got and how I'm going to wire it. And so now I'm going to lay everything out and start laying out the harness and routing all the wires and see how everything fits. Okay, so this is kind of how I envision it. I'm going to put the two-step here just on top of the ABS controller, and I'm pretty sure it'll be okay for heat. If this plastic module can handle the heat, I'm pretty sure that lingenfelter two-step can as well. Loosened off the strut brace just so I can tuck away the wires all nice and neat. The wires I didn't use, I ran along the loom and just taped them up to make them look clean. The one side's already hooked up. Then I'm going to run the wires along here to the other side, the other coil packs. That just gets plugged in line. So you just disconnect the factory one and you plug in the launch controller in line. This is the activation wire. So 12 volt activation yellow wire. So that's the input. So from the C-tap, when it gets engaged, it'll send power to here and activate the launch control. So I ran it inside the loom just to keep it clean as well, and that's going to go through the firewall into the cab. So I'm just going to clean this up, mount this up with some two-sided tape or Velcro tape. I got to see what they have in the packaging kit. I'm pretty sure it's two-sided tape. So, and then that way it'll kind of be out of the way. I'll still be able to get at it easy enough with a screwdriver to adjust it at the track. So right now it's set at 4,400, which is probably pretty close to where I launch anyhow, around 4,000. So yeah, that's how I'm going to run it, and I'm just going to kind of tidy things up and run that yellow activation wire through into the cab. So the next step is going to be to put in the C-tap and the plug and play harness. So this is just a matter of unplugging the clutch position sensor, and the purple output, the analog output, will go into the analog input of the C-tap. Then you have a switched power, a ground, and then the orange is going to be normally, the orange wire is normally off, so no 12 volt output of this until the clutch is depressed. Once that sends 12 volt out of the orange wire, that's going to connect the yellow wire on the launch controller and activate the launch control. So the switched power is going to be coming from the momentary switch on my dash. So there's the old one for line lock, which is going to be replaced, and that's where the new two-step launch control button is going to be. So yeah, so that's I don't know what kind of video I'm going to get from underneath the dash, but once it's all done, I'll try to get a picture of kind of what it looks like underneath here, kind of all tucked away. Well, that was not a lot of fun. That was a nightmare trying to get that clutch position sensor all the way in there, and I don't know if you can kind of, where is it now? That's how hard it is to get at. I'll post a picture. But it's up there now. You can see the purple wire. There it is. That's the extension, but behind that brace that holds the clutch pedal assembly itself is where it plugs into, and the sensor's in the top of that brace, and it's really hard to get at. But the plug and play harness is in now, so that's that purple lead, and then I got the yellow lead coming from the launch control. So it's just a matter of mounting this up and putting power to it and running the wires along and up along the console and putting the switch in. So I'll try to find a nice place to mount this nice and clean, and then I'll run my wires. So here's the C-tap. It's going to be mounted way up here with the Velcro that I have on the backing plate. I took the backing plate off to get at the calibration button. So the way this works is key on, engine off, and you got to set all your switches to 0 to put it into program mode. Let's see, that's all zeroed out now. So I'm going to put the key on. So key is on. And you need to depress the pedal all the way twice. And it should go, well, first got to put it in learn mode. Okay, it's in learn mode. So I'm going to push the pedal down all the way and then release it. And you got to do that twice. And now the light's green, solid green. That means the learn is correct. And I can set my switches back to the way they were. And yeah, so the C-tap now knows the high and low voltage of the clutch pedal. And I just need to put the backing plate on and tuck it back up out of the way, and then we'll try it out. Line lock's working good. I can hear the solenoid clicking. Killer chiller, it's working. Killer chiller on, killer chiller off. 2-step. I can see it's activating on the clutch position. There's it's way tucked underneath there now, but green light, 2-step on, 2-step off, on, off. That's all tucked out of the way so that you can't see it. So let's test out the 2-step, seeing as it's minus 32 outside, February 24th. Crappy cold weather, might as well open up the doors and make some noise. Well, that worked. Pretty loud in the garage. Gonna try it one more time. All done. Everything's all put back together, all cleaned up. Nice and neat. Everything's all tucked away. There's the mounted launch control. So wanted to do a real good clean install. Didn't want a whole bunch of wires and switches and stuff hanging out. So this turned out really nice. Super happy with that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Well, that's a wrap on the install. 2 steps in, tested, works pretty good. Shot a little flame out. Super loud in the garage. Can't wait to try it out. It's set at 3,500 RPM. Can't wait to try it out on the drag strip, see how it works. But it's going to be a couple months before I can try that, but it's ready for racing season when the time comes. As far as the launch control, I have some suspension mods to do next. I got some BMR control arms and bushings, cradle bushings, so that's going to be the next video. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time.